Good morning.
Now it's bumping to the beat. Hey, hey. How are you?
I'm great and yourself?
Good. Are you snowed in?
No.
Y'all ain't
It's
getting no
just
snow?
we got a little. It's just cold.
We got snow on snow on snow. So we already had several feet, I think. It was high. I'll just say that. It's like it was to the knee in most
Wow.
cases. But then it snowed again last night. I
Wow.
believe it's still snowing right now. It's
Wow.
just snow. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. It's peaceful. It's calming. It needs to calm me because my stress level right now is on 10 and I don't like to be stressed, but I have
Uh-oh.
so many things on my desk that need to be done by midnight. So I even I even added some calming tea to my mix to
Uh-oh.
yeah. I may even take a 10-minute yoga break as well. I just got to bring it down before
Oh,
I do a be like, forget all y'all.
right.
I don't
Right.
care. Good luck. But other than that, everything is good. Uh, I got a surprise for y'all in the meeting after the meeting. I'll share it
Okay.
again. Yes. Okay. Um, let's see. Oh, the thing that I owe you, I'm caught up in a HEMA ticket world. I used all of the codes and none of them is giving me the stuff that I need to check your stuff. So
Okay.
I'm in ticket world, but I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
Well,
FYI, I didn't want you to think I threw you out there. Never that.
people are blasting Ahima's behind the
I,
scenes.
s- I saw I told well the one guy our friend Brian, he was the first one I saw, and then it just went boom 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 boom, and it's I we gonna have fun in the meeting after the meeting. That's all I got. Make sure your Patreon is up. This is going down. All right. Oh, okay. Let's get this party started. Welcome, everybody, to our Saturday morning tea. Here we brew up the hottest topics in healthcare. We discuss health information, news, education, certification tips, the weather, all kinds of things. The additional tea that's out there in these healthcare streets, in the health information world, entrepreneurship, and the revenue cycle at large. So as you come in, don't forget to hit the thumbs up or like button. I'm Clarice Warner. I'm the girl with the pearls, the founder and senior education director of the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, where coding education is key. And PRN is a healthcare compliance consultancy located in Cincinnati, Ohio, that specializes in revenue cycle and regulatory compliance in education. Now, let me ask you, do you know what it takes to be a certified marketable medical coder? Do you? Well, before I introduce my co host, let me share with you information on a free, yes, free email course on the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder. Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start and scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder. Hey, I didn't have my music this morning, so this is doing it for me. So if you're interested in getting more information about the 5 steps, there are probably a gazillion more, but I just narrowed it down to 5. The 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder, then check out the video description for the link. All right. So joining me today is my partner in success, my co-host, Mr. Jesse, the registered trademark. Put some respect on his name, the coding nurse. Sir, introduce yourself and tell the folks all about you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jesse. I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where we don't have a lot of snow, fortunately. I left the bedside in 2014. I got into risk adjustment. And in 2020, I created a company called the Coding Nurse LLC, where I help nurses and other people in healthcare with a clinical background transition into the wonderful world of HIM.
And how's that working out for you in this wonderful world of HIM?
It's going pretty good so far. Like, I started a class this past week, and one of the students was like, we walked through some basic scenarios, like fun,
Uh-huh.
like
Uh-huh.
basic codes.
Uh-huh.
So she was like, "Oh, this isn't bad at all." I said, "Okay, I'm going to remember that you said that. I'm going to remind you that you said that in a couple of weeks."
Be like, yeah. Because they'll hit it and be like, oh, I got this. That's a
Mhm.
breeze. And then be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down. What is this? What is that? What are all of these things?
Exactly.
Oh, well, congratulations. I'm glad that is what's up. What's up? What's up? Let's see. Good morning, Naomi. I hope I'm saying your name right. Oh, I hate to Miss Mendez. I can say that. How about
Yes. I think
that?
it's Noemi.
Right. Good morning. Is that how you say it?
I really think so, Noemi, because
No Emmy.
mhm.
No Emmy. I like that. That's pretty. I like that. Okay. My bad. Sorry. I got it now. No Emmy. Ma'am. Good morning, Tanika. And good morning to our on the street correspondent, the crafty coder. Good morning. Good morning.
In my pants. Exactly.
If only she knew. No, I ain't gonna even
Yeah.
do it.
That was a good one, Tanika.
I
Good
know.
one.
Look, I feel like I want to kick my shoes off, all of the things. Ah, yes, it's okay. All right, all right. Yes, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. All right, all right. Yes, yes. Welcome everybody. So, oh goodness. Y'all on the roll already. I see it and I love it. All of the things. This is wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So, let me just remind you before we get started, this is a conversation. Y'all already see y'all joining in on the conversation. You can join in on the conversation and add to the conversation your thoughts, your opinions, all of the things. Don't be shy. We are here to provide information. We provide the topics. We provide the food for thought. But we want to hear, how did you ingest it? What did you take away from it? We want to hear all of the things. So your opinion matters here, even if it's contrary to popular belief, even if it's an unpopular opinion. We don't care. Share it. It's all right. It actually may give us something to think about. Like, you know what? I never thought about it from that particular perspective. So yes, share your thoughts, share your opinions. Again, use the chat. If you have a question, nobody listens to directions, but if you have a question, please type a Q first so that we know that it's a question for us and not for the group, and we don't miss it. Okay. So for those who are joining us or watching the replay, today we are talking ambient AI compliance. What health information professionals need to know now. But first, let's get into our church announcements, shall we? Hey, hey, I miss my. I'm gonna get that memo, I promise. I say that all the time. I have the template over here. I just need to print out everything and get it together. Let me add that to the 10,000 things on the list now. Hey, hey, hey.
We're coming up on his day soon.
It is. I'm so excited. I might have to find another picture. So excited. It's just so much happening in the world.
It
So
is.
much. So much happening in the world. Okay. Damn.
But with so much going on, there's so much opportunity too.
You're right about that. That you're absolutely right about. I want to also just give my thoughts and prayers to all of those folks over on the West Coast in LA. That's just devastating, and just it's just so sad. It's so sad. But um you know me, I try to maintain some sort of optimism and just understanding and realizing, and it's easy to say not being in the situation, but remember, things can be replaced. I know memories, not so much. If you have like photographs and videos and that kind of stuff. But the people is what's important, to make sure, that we that the lives are saved. And again, condolences to any families or folks that are have lost loved ones in all of that. But just it's just it looks scary. It looks like a war zone. It just looks horrible. And
It's so big.
it's so much. And then just I can't even imagine, every day, okay, another one's popping up here, another one's popping up here. And I'd be like, you know what? Are they able to fly out? Because I would be out. Like, yeah, let's just go. We can watch from the next state over or something. I don't know. It's just a lot. But my heart goes out to, and prayers for all of anybody that is involved, and even those of us who are not involved but have loved ones in the area. Just praying for you all. And then those over here on the East Coast that's freezing.
Yes.
There are a lot of homeless folks out here, y'all. And so, while, it's sometimes you don't think, because you don't necessarily see them, but they're out there somewhere. And so, prayers for anyone who is unhoused and out here in these streets during this cold winter weather time. Okay.
Oh.
Now, that was not my church announcements, but I don't know, I just felt that up in my spirit. Not a real church announcement. All right. Did you all hear that the Justice Department announced a resolution of criminal and civil investigations into McKinsey and Company's work with Purdue Pharma? And the former McKinsey senior partner was charged with obstruction of justice. McKinsey will pay $650 million, cease work relating to controlled substances, and implement significant new compliance measures. The reason why this is such a big thing is because McKinsey and Company is a global management consulting firm in New York. I don't think this is the first time that a management consulting firm has been held criminally responsible for advice. Y'all.
And they're involved in a lot of things.
A lot of things. A lot of things. So this was huge. But in this particular case, it is around the consulting work that they did with opioids manufacturer Purdue Pharma. Y'all remember Purdue Pharma, right? And all of the things that came from all of that. So the resolution pertains to McKinsey's advice to Purdue concerning the sales and marketing of Purdue's extended release opioid drug, OxyContin, including a 2013 engagement which McKinsey advised on steps to, quote, turbocharge, end quote, sales of OxyContin. So they touching everybody. If you was involved in any of the things, you was involved in any of the things. And the government may be looking for you. But anyway, the reason why I think this was such a big deal was because it is the first time that a management consulting firm has been out here and is being held criminally responsible for the advice. Also, a former McKinsey senior partner who worked on Purdue matters has been charged with obstruction of justice in federal court. Martin Elling is a U.S. citizen currently residing in Bangkok, Thailand, has been charged with one count of knowingly destroying records, documents, and tangible objects with the intent to impede, obstruct, and influence the investigation and proper administration of a matter within the jurisdiction of the Justice Department. He has agreed to plead guilty and is expected to appear in federal court to enter his plea and for sentencing at later dates. Let's see. McKinsey has also entered into a 5-year deferred prosecution agreement, or DPA, in connection with a criminal investigation filed in the U.S. District Court in Virginia against their U.S. subsidiary. I guess they're all over. Maybe they have. Oh, they're a global firm, so they have places everywhere. Just a lot. This whole thing was a lot.
A lot.
They've also entered into a civil settlement agreement. They have agreed that it will not do any work related to marketing, sale, promotion, or distribution of controlled substances during the 5-year term of the DPA. McKinsey schemed with Purdue Pharma to turbocharge OxyContin sales during a raging opioid epidemic, an epidemic that continues to decimate families and communities across the nation. Today's groundbreaking resolution makes clear that our office's commitment to holding powerful companies accountable for their part in the opioid epidemic, even if they did not make, sell, or dispense the drugs. And that came from the U.S. Attorney Joshua Levy for the District of Massachusetts. Consulting firms like McKinsey should get the message. If the advice you give to companies in boardrooms and PowerPoint presentation aids and abets criminal activity, we will come after you and we will expose the truth. End quote. Make sure what you're telling folks is what you need to be telling folks, right? Right. Okay.
Right.
And it's a whole bunch of stuff in here, but I just wanted to kind of bring that to your attention. All right. Mr. Jesse, do you have, didn't I see something swirling? Do you have anything you want to? No?
No.
Okay. You sure?
I can't I don't know. No. But
see, that's what happens. You got so much going on. You be like, don't you got another class coming in February?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jesus. You see what I do? I put the platform here. I try to get the people to, tell the folks what's happening, what you're doing, what's going on.
Yeah, I started advertising for another class. It will be February.
I can't hear you.
Oh,
you low on my end. I'm sorry.
Let me. That's
better.
Okay, I'm going to start a new class on a Monday-Wednesday rotation beginning Wednesday, February 14th. And fun information, go to thecodingnurse.com.
Yes, I saw that website. You better do it. I said, oh, we fancy, huh?
Yeah, it was time for. I had done like little tweaks, but I needed an update. So.
Okay. Yeah, I got some questions about that, and I'm working with someone on ours. I told y'all I broke my website a long time ago, and and so we trying to play. I was trying to play, so I got it up to where it's at least clickable. How about that? You can go to it, see some stuff. But I'm trying to take it back to what it was and add the things so you can see more things related to all of our businesses. But I'm working with one of our business accelerator programs things that they're doing. And so, yeah, we'll talk about that. Look, let me just add all of this to the list on the meeting after the meeting because there's a lot going on. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see. Yay. She giving you the congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay. That's what's up. That's what's up. I know, and you see what I got to do just to get it out. See what I gotta do? I don't understand. All right. All right. So let the tea spilling begin. So today we're talking about ambient AI in healthcare. And so not just the buzz, but the critical compliance considerations that every health information professional needs to understand. So grab your tea. Hopefully, if you're like me, you got 3 strong tea bags. Let's see. The quote, inner peace creates peace in the world. Yes. And hey, they say the same thing. Well, how did that happen? 2 different teas, same quote.
Wow. So
I know.
message.
Sir, so much so they had to give me a double dose. Yay. Good morning, Carolyn. Good morning. Okay.
Good morning.
So, okay, first, let's talk about where all of this came from. So let me just, I was on a call this week with a EHR company. And I have a couple of clients that uses this particular software. And every quarter, I believe, quarterly, they have like these get-togethers to talk about updates, changes, what's coming down the pike, all different things. It became a great session though. The people weren't ready for what happened. Somewhere in the conversation, it shifted like, yeah, we've been waiting for people to give us this. And so it was like, oh, well, who, well, what, so I was like, be careful what you ask for. Because they kept asking, y'all sure y'all don't have no questions? Well, since so and so, da 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 da. I said, oh. It was turning left and left. It hit a sharp left, and then it was like, yes, this is interesting. This is well worth my little hour, even though it was like a 2-hour session. I was like, wow, okay. But they had kind of a salesy presentation. You gotta have something to present. So they had a salesy presentation talking about this ambient AI, and I'm like, well, what in the world? What is this?
Exactly.
What is happening in the world? So, ambient AI is ambient artificial intelligence. We know what AI means. And it's a form of technology that uses voice recognition to passively listen to and interpret provider patient conversations in real time, automatically creating relevant clinical documentation without requiring manual input. So basically, it's an AI scribe, if you will, kind of putting together, listening to what's happening. In some cases, I want to say not only listening, but interpreting, maybe even visualizing some things as well, and adding to the documentation. So as he was going on and on, I was I was confused. Let me just say that. Like, excuse me? And the thing is, it's not new. It's been here for a minute, y'all. I don't know if y'all know that. But so some key characteristics of ambient AI is that it's automatic capture and transcription of patient-physician interactions. Again, there's real-time processing of natural conversations, creation of medically relevant clinical documentation, integration with electronic health records, and voice recognition technology that works in the background. Let me just add this to the conversation for today. So the session that I was on, and so I'm trying to manage this and balance this in my mind, the compliance mind, on how is this working. But let me just give you this extra piece. This was a behavioral health EHR, behavioral health and substance abuse EHR. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So anyway, so the primary purposes for Ambient AI is to reduce manual documentation burden on healthcare providers. Y'all know that burden that everybody talks about, which is your job. But okay. Allow clinicians to focus more on patient interaction rather than note taking. Generate comprehensive clinical notes automatically. Support more accurate and detailed documentation for coding and billing. Decrease time spent on administrative tasks. And so, an example of ambient AI during a medical visit, the software would listen to the conversation between the doctor and patient, process and interpret the medical dialogue, automatically create the clinical notes and documentation, generate clinical recommendations, and make the documentation immediately available through patient portals. Okay. Mr. Jesse, feel free to jump in anytime you like. All right.
I just wanted to jump into when you said that it's not new technology. Really and truly, you know what it is? This is this is Siri for the medical world. And I wanted to, because it just flashed back. There's a an Apple lawsuit. Oh, actually, there's a settlement, and the details haven't been released yet, but it's along the same lines. Like, because when I know you're going to get into the article about consent and all of that, but the settlement with Apple is people you had to have had enabled Siri on an Apple device because we all know that when you search things like you can search something on your computer and then all of a sudden if you're on Instagram you'll see ads for everything you were looking
Mm-hmm.
for. Well, apparently Siri was doing the same thing when you had conversations around this device that was activated with Siri. If you talked about green peppers or green eggs and ham, you would start to see
Some
green.
greens, eggs, and ham will
Yeah,
show up on your porch.
yes. And people didn't know. That's why they were seeing this.
Interesting.
So there's going to be a website announced soon for people to go to if you had enabled Siri on any kind of Apple device for you to get your little coin or two.
Mm, okay. So, yeah, now that you think about it. Yeah, okay. So let's start where we are right now. So, according to the Medical Group Management Association, about 30% of physician practices are already using ambient AI technology. So, again, this isn't future tech, this is already here. There, folks are out here using this, and it's transforming how we handle clinical documentation. But here's what's crucial for health information professionals. The rapid adoption means we need to be proactive, not reactive. I said that a gazillion times. You know how I feel about that. So we're seeing providers implement these systems without fully understanding the compliance implications. Again, what I heard in the salesy conversation, and probably what is being said in all of these, is this will help ease your documentation burden. This will allow you, this will free up your time from sitting in front of your computer and typing out your notes. And this, they even tie it to the burnout and all of the things, that is all of the things. And so of course that's going to pique somebody's interest and get somebody's attention, and they're going to be like, where do we sign up? Again, without knowing all of the things. So in the New England Journal of Medicine Catalyst study, from February 2024, it showed over 303,000 patient encounters using ambient AI. Again, that's 303,000 opportunities for compliance issues if folks don't know what they're doing and they're not careful. So let's talk a little bit about that compliance framework that should be in place if you're considering or even if you have it, you need to kind of scramble and put some things into place. Um, First and foremost, let's talk about HIPAA compliance. We all know that's not optional at all. And in this case, it's critical. Um, but even on the behavioral health and substance abuse, really, y'all? Okay.
I just wanted because that is the whole critical piece that people are missing. I don't think people really understand. Like, yes, health information is protected, but mental health, behavioral health information is
Is
really
double
protected.
protected. Exactly.
Yes.
So you're operating on HIPAA. You're also operating on I think it's 42 CFR. It's a whole part 1, 2, and maybe 3. I don't know, but it's a whole bunch of stuff. Um, I don't know off the top of my head. That's happening. And really? But anyway, so with these ambient AI systems continuously recording and processing patient encounters, there needs to be a lot of policies. A lot of policies need to be put in place. So there should be data encryption during capture and transmission. There needs some kind of policy related to that. Access controls and audit trails. Who can get this information, and who's able to then follow the trail of the information? Data storage and retention policies. Of course, we all have those retention policies. What's going to happen? How is it being stored? What medium is that in? Mediums change after so many years. Making sure that you're forward thinking about what the next medium, how you're going to be able to transmit this information if you need it later on, because you have record retention policies, and records should be available for many, 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 many years. So yeah. And then de-identification protocols. How are you going to de-identify some of this stuff if need be for work issues, work problems, things that you would need to have? Say you're in a teaching environment and you're using this information. How does that work? How? Who? What? Have you thought about it? Okay. Again, some food for thought. Yes, it's really on another level. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Informed consent becomes more complex with ambient AI. Um, Things that need to be established: clear patient notification procedures. You got to let the folks know, hey,
Mm-hmm.
to Mr. Jesse's point about what's going on with Apple and Siri, and I hope it doesn't affect my stock. But anyway, what's going on with Apple and Siri? Um, you got to let folks know. You can't just be in the back clicking buttons like do 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 do, and you're on. Really, there has to be some opt out processes. Folks can say no, so get the type in, right? If they decide no, I'm not interested in that. There has to be some sort of documentation of the consent. None of this verbal foolishness. This is serious, because all the good things that could happen, sometimes you got to consider all the bad things could happen, and be prepared for that. Again, that's part of being proactive in this space. Um, Processes for handling sensitive conversations. And remember, what's recorded can be subpoenaed. Hmm? So there should also be policies for evidence preservation, legal hold procedures, and response protocols for system detection issues. And let me just say, when I began to do my search and look for information on ambient AI, the Journal of AHIMA actually released an article, and it's pinned in the description um, notes, especially if you're on YouTube. They released it January 6th of 2025. And interest in ambient AI grows. HI professionals focus on clinical documentation. It's by John McCormack. So I wanted to give him his credit on information that he had on this topic. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. A lot of the things going on. All right. So we talked about some legal frameworks, informed consent. Remember, what is recorded can be subpoenaed. Let's kind of change our focus a little bit to risk management. Some practical risk management. And as health information professionals, we need to think about documentation integrity. So, verification processes for AI generated notes, quality assurance protocols, error correction procedures. What if AI thought they said da 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 da, but they didn't? They said da 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 da. Nobody is checking to see that. That becomes part of your record because it's automatically flowing into clinical documentation. It's never caught until it's caught. And maybe what was said can potentially impact the quality of that patient's care because they thought they said this, but they said something else. Well, now they're doing all these additional random tests on something that they thought was said, but it wasn't. Patient doesn't have, it's a mess. It's a mess.
Right.
And then integration with existing EHR systems. So again, it's saying that it will automatically flow into your clinical documentation. So making sure that there's a seamless way in doing that, and it's not clunky and it's not causing additional stress, strife, and worry. Other things to consider: staff privacy protection. Did you think about your staff? Because sometimes it's not just that provider and patient in the room. Maybe you got a nurse coming in to do some things. Maybe you got a medical assistant coming in to do some things. Or maybe you just want another provider or practitioner in the room for whatever reason doing some things. So making sure there's clear policies on recording limitations, union consideration protocols. We talked about unions last week, right? That's a whole thing. Training requirements, employee consent procedures, also system monitoring. So regular audits of AI generated documentation. That's a whole other bag, right? That's a whole other opportunity. Compliance monitoring processes, incident response procedures, and performance metrics tracking. And again, let's talk about this whole implementation. And if this is something that you really think, one, you can afford to do, two, your providers are insistent on having you do, and you're moving forward, this is where life is now taking you. Think about what should be in your compliance toolkits. Again, you need to have these policies, um, comprehensive privacy policies, data retention schedules, access control procedures, and incident response plans. There needs to be a lot of training around this, training for staff education on how to use the system, privacy awareness training, documentation requirements training, and any compliance updates as this technology morphs into whatever it's morphing into. um, Audit procedures, regular system audits, documentation quality reviews, compliance assessments, and performance evaluations. So, I don't know if you all had heard about ambient AI. I didn't know if you've experienced, maybe you've been a patient and some ambient AI has been going on in your physician office or nurse practitioner office or wherever you may be seeking care. If that's the case, if you have an experience, we would love to share, your experience.
But
Go ahead.
but I don't even think we would know because we
Well, you
know
should
that.
get a consent. You should have.
But that's if they're being compliant. But
Well,
how do you know? That's just like that's probably why
they might
Apple's
have on
being
them glasses.
right. That's probably why Apple's being sued because nobody told you. But when you signed up for Siri, we're going to be listening to everything you say. I mean, although I knew that's why I never got the Siri or like that Echo Dot and all that. None of that stuff. Mm-mm. I knew it was going to be a problem, and this is going to be a problem.
It's gonna be a huge problem
And
because all I see is revenue cycle problems. But
I just don't understand how we have gotten to where we are. Like, it's one thing, technology is supposed to make things easier, but we're not supposed to be dependent on it. And that's where we're moving, and it is not going to end well.
it's scary. All I can think of, and that movie scared the bejeebus out of me, was iRobot. I know there were several of them types of movies out there, but iRobot was the greatest thing since sliced bread when it was great. But it was a whole other thing when it wasn't. When the tables turned and them robots went awry. um, and I agree with you that the dependence on it, and the crazy part is, you have the conversations, you hear the conversations about AI taking my position or AI taking my job or AI, but are you not giving your job to AI at some point? And this let's think about CDI for a minute. I know that's your baby. Some of the problems, we all know a lot of the problem is around the documentation. So this conversation, this even work. Okay, so this conversation is supposedly real time between this provider and this patient. So this provider who is doing the documentation, usually doing the documentation, uh, has their protocol and has their process on how they um how the encounters occur with patients with various types of diseases. Let's go diabetes, for example. So this you're seeing the physician, patient has diabetes, the physician has his protocols, all of the things. So they're having the conversation on all of the things that is probably listed in their protocol. Hopefully that protocol has been vetted or looked at or whatever that will help with the clinical documentation. But maybe it hasn't. So now you're spitting out a conversation to an ambient AI that's going to mimic the foolishness that you already do in your documentation. That's one. But two, at what point does the AI now say, sir or ma'am, let me interject and add my own piece to what I think you should be saying or doing? That's where it gets funky. And then we already know about the bias in these AI systems. That's where it becomes a whole other thing.
Because at that point, it's because that's a really good point, because then it gets into medical decision making. Like,
Yes.
who's really deciding? Is it the
Yes.
provider? Is it this algorithm?
Yes. And then who put this algorithm together?
Exactly.
Good morning, NC worker. Good morning. Yes. So I, this was huge to me. I mean, I know, I'm far from the techie, I dibble and dabble, but I'm far from the techie thing. But when I heard about this, I was like, what? What are they talking about? Like, I had to shut everything down and lean into this sales conversation. Like, what?
And it's just like you have been saying forever. And it really is true. Like, it's not going anywhere. Like, they're not going to say, oh, well, let's just scrap it. They're not.
They're not. They're just
You,
gonna keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing. It's
Mhm.
just like I remember when the EHRs came into play, like it was just yesterday. And the resistance. Um, some folks were like, "Oh yes, this will be great. This will help um in so many ways with maintaining documentation and all of the things." And yes, EHR has done that. But I also remember the conversations to get these providers to jump on board. One, there was a monetary carrot. Don't act like y'all didn't get paid to implement these EHRs, because you did.
Right.
And some of you even tried to spread the wealth to some of your providers to get them on board, then to be champions to other providers. Well, we got you. Why don't you get your friend? You know how. Tell them the goodness and the greatness of this EHR platform that we're bringing in for you. So much so that we lost a lot of small, independent physician practice offices, nurse practitioner, small offices, because they couldn't afford the massive price tag of EHR back in the day. Now, some of it has kind of level set depending on your specialty, but who could afford that back in the day? So all that to be said, the hype was, again, to the provider. Oh my God, this is going to be great. This is going to help you with your documentation. This is going to, and look at it now. If I hear one more time about the documentation burden of these providers, I'm going to scream, because now it's a burden. Oh my God, I can't do this. I can't type this. They've offered, I mean, because dictation still didn't go away. It's there are several areas in which, or several opportunities and things that will allow dictation even into your EHR systems. So there are a lot of those things that are still happening. So there are workarounds to sitting and type, because some of these doctors can't type. I swear to God, they pecking with one finger.
Well, they're using Dragon.
That's what I'm saying. You got Dragon. Some of them went as far as, you know what? I already had a person who was transcribing my stuff. Let me let them do whatever it is they do. Here's the notes. Y'all work it out. There were options for that. So I don't know. Even scribes, because there was a point where that was the new kid on the block, and so you have all these extra people in the room scribing and following and documenting and all of the things. Clinical people, like, they were using nurses, using nurse practitioners, using PA, using clinical folks to sit there for
And some were
hours at a
using
time.
non-clinical.
Huh?
Some were using non-clinical people.
Yes, you have both. But I'm like, there were whole certifications to become a scribe. I mean, it was a whole big thing, and it probably still is. But now you're morphing into technology, and again, looking for an opportunity to have technology kind of do this. Again, I'm concerned on so many levels, but first and foremost, I'm thinking patient quality. I'm thinking employee privacy. I'm thinking all I see are lawsuits.
Exactly. Because it's just like, you hear and people talk about in rap songs all the time. Different level, different devil. I mean,
Absolutely.
you get rid of one thing, but then you create another. Because like when you were talking about, the buy-in for EHRs, like I for one was tickled pink, because trying to read some of these providers' handwritings like back in the day,
Ooh.
oh, it was terrible. Like
I think because my handwriting, my signature is a straight scribble. Because they were like, "Are you a doctor?" No, but I seen so much of it, I figured I can do it too.
I mean, I just remember like showing somebody like, does this look like so and so to you? Like, what does it look like? Are they saying this exactly?
Wait a minute. Not when you take something and you turn it around and
Yeah.
around and around to try to figure out. Because we would do that and then pass it to the next person. What you make out of it? And everybody, each person trying to figure out the letters to figure out, oh, that's da 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 da.
I mean, I even remember.
How did you be productive in that?
Exactly.
In that area?
I even remember like when I was doing bedside, like this one doctor asked me what another doctor was saying in the consult note. So now we move past that. Now we're into this. Now we're into some, large language model compute server in God knows where is now going to determine health outcomes. It's mm,
It's scary.
it is.
It's scary.
But the reason why, and getting back to this burden, and I really think it's a burden because the whole healthcare landscape has changed, and it's a burden because these providers got to see so many people to make some money.
They on productivity too.
Exactly. Whereas before, it wasn't like that.
I can take I can work from 9 to noon and I'll be done.
Look, and get
Don't
your
be a surgeon. Let me have a surgery here, there, and then come into the office for a couple hours and I'm on the
look,
golf course. Those
I
them
was
days
going
is
to say
over.
you have your golf membership paid for in a
Have
week.
you been golfing? Maybe on a
Exactly.
weekend or vacation.
And people just don't understand. And then it's like, in addition to the productivity, I don't really believe that patient care has gotten any better. I really don't. Because I have a, you know, I have a, one of my best friends now, her cousin is in the hospital. Her cousin, in my opinion, has sepsis, but they did not establish the diagnosis within like the first 48 hours. There's no way in the world this woman does not have sepsis, but they're not doing certain tests because they don't want to prove it. And I said,
Then they don't want that liability.
no. And that's what I was talking to my friend, and she's a nurse too. I'm like, I asked, because I asked, were they doing certain blood tests? And she passed it on to her cousin's daughters, and the doctors gave them some kind of ridiculous answer as to why not. But this woman went to the hospital. Her WBCs were elevated, like maybe 13, 14. In the hospital, it went up to 23. You and there's no way in the world you could if you have that. They even took her off of telemetry. And I told her, I said, that's because they don't want to document the SIRS criteria. I mean, it's obvious to me, but there are people who really don't know. And I told her, I said, it's because they don't want to eat that sepsis because
They
they
don't
didn't
want to
do
eat
their
that
job.
because they gonna eat that. If it was acquired in that hospital, they gonna eat that. And you didn't treat you, they gonna eat that. And
But
on the back end too, because
but she's on. How are you on 3 antibiotics and you're not septic? How? But this is healthcare.
and probably from well, an AI protocol. But then again, so think about this because you're not saying that they are, but just consider this scenario. So you are using some sort of AI to assist in your medical decision making, but then you're holding back and not telling the AI the whole story.
That's
So
right.
then they're generating something based on what again you tell it because that's how they operate. It's based on the information in, but your information in is garbage. So you're gonna get garbage coming out, and you're gonna then give this garbage to the clinical team that's providing care to this patient. Who's liable? Where does the liability hit? So how do you oh well, this is the protocol that the AI gave us that ooh, a lot to think about, right? A lot to think about. Lots to think about. Okay, y'all. So just I don't know. Just remember those of us in the health information world, those of us who are health information professionals, we're not just implementing the technology. We're trying to protect our patients. We're actually trying to protect our providers and give them something to think about before they just be like, oh my God, this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread. Let's just jump 2 feet in and go, yay. And
You know,
our organizations as a whole. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
as we were talking, I really think that unless and until these large language model companies, because that's really what AI is, that's what they unless and until these people on the implementation level, unless and until they begin to consult with HIM people in the development, because if they consulted HIM people in the
They probably put a
development,
pause on a whole bunch of the stuff, like, oh, well,
but
let us rethink and let us.
or if they did it, they would have, it would have better safeguards, it would have better protections.
Mhm.
So I really think that is going to be the move, like some kind of like AI compliance. It's not a thing yet, but I think it will be. And I think that they need to be involved, because that happens all the time in healthcare, period. These people go off and create things, but they don't consult with the people who have to actually use it with any kind of feedback during any stage of development. They think they have all this thing with bells and whistles. Then when people start to use it, well, this doesn't work, or this doesn't communicate with that, because they never asked anybody what they really needed it to do.
Mhm.
They come up with what they come up with based off of what they think it should be.
Mhm.
So I just think there needs to be more collaboration at the planning stages
Mhm.
to avoid all of this.
I agree. I agree. And so again, to your point, the success of any of these, I mean, Ambient AI for our conversation today, but really any of these types of AI generated tools in healthcare really depends on um, our ability to maintain compliance while leveraging the benefits. So, taking a complete, looking at the complete picture, and then making sure we're being accountable and responsible for all sides of it. Yes. Well, I know I learned something. I don't know about y'all, but I learned a whole lot in just putting this together. Like, are you kidding me right now? And I learned something
But
today, Mr. Jesse. Thank you about the Apple stuff.
and it just reminds me, like, just this dependence on AI, because at my last employer, like they changed the whole CDI workflow based off of priority scores. And supposedly, like, the higher the priority score, the more acute someone is. So they would get attention.
Mhm.
And even it would even affect your re-reviews. Like if your re-review wasn't above a certain score, you didn't have to look at that person. But you're taking a risk because AI is not all knowing and all inclusive, and they definitely mess up with procedures. What happens if you don't physically look at that record? That person could have gone to the OR and had a procedure that AI didn't even pick up to affect the priority score.
Mhm.
And this person then had a whole operation for some kind of complication, and you don't review that case for 4 days based off of this priority score.
Mm.
It's just it's a setup for disaster.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow. All right, y'all. Well, that's it in a nutshell. Ambient AI, huh? All of the things. If it ain't one thing, it's another.
Look, there's going to be a whole lot of ambient lawsuits.
That too. That too. All right, all right. So, are you thirsty for fresh perspectives on the healthcare revenue cycle? By becoming one of the PRNT sippers, you'll join a community of sharp minds who savor the complexities of the healthcare revenue cycle. Why sip alone when you can steep in knowledge together? Come, let's spill the tea on industry insights. Here's what you can expect as a valued member of the PRNT Sippers. Exclusive healthcare insights. Gain access to in depth articles, webinars, and resources covering the latest healthcare trend, compliance updates, and revenue cycle best practices. Early access. Be the first to receive expert insights and guides, ensuring you stay ahead in the ever evolving healthcare industry. Personalized support. Enjoy direct access to our team of experts for guidance on medical coding, compliance issues, and revenue cycle management. We're here to answer your questions and support your professional growth. And my favorite, the community connection. Join
Did
a
you
private, huh?
did you see Tanika her comment? I know. I'm
I'm
sorry.
trying not to, sir,
Okay.
let me, because, ma'am, join a private community of healthcare professionals where you can network, share experiences, and collaborate on finding solutions to common challenges. So, by supporting us, you're not only advancing your healthcare knowledge and career, but also contributing to the success of the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, a resource that empowers healthcare professionals like you to thrive in their roles, goals, and dreams. So thank you in advance for considering becoming a member of the PRNT Sippers. And for the cost of what, 2 cups of tea, you can join the community. Well, it depends on where you live, because I done been somewhere and a cup of tea was a lot of money. I said, well, why is this $6? I don't understand. But okay. So depending on where you live, it's 1 cup or two. Check out the link in the description of the video. Your support means the world to us, and we look forward to helping you excel in the world of health information and healthcare revenue cycle. Again, you can go to bit.ly/the PRNT sippers, or again, check the link out in the video. Alrighty, description. She said, okay, let me get to her, ma'am. She got, I think my teacup needs to turn into shot glasses. Ma'am. It was like, I'm sorry, but this was intense. It was. It was. I said, didn't I tell y'all might need 3, 4 tea bags like me? It's strong. Strong tea over here. Even
A
though it's
lot going
calming tea.
on.
But it's a lot. And it's a lot to think about as we navigate. And here we are starting off 2025. Like pow, pang, boom. Really?
And then on top of it, we're getting ready to go into an administration that is for less regulation. So it's
Think
getting ready
about
to be
that. Just add that to your stress level and worries. How about that?
it's getting ready to be the okay corral.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you all again for joining the Saturday morning tea or checking out the replay. Let me ask you, was the tea spilled today? Put your teacups
Yes.
in the chat. Some of you may be using shot glasses, but put your teacups in the chat. Now, before we sign off, I always have a special request for all you amazing viewers out there. So if you found this episode helpful, don't keep it to yourself. You shouldn't keep it to yourself. Share this knowledge with your colleagues, friends, even enemies by hitting that share button. And hey, why not subscribe to our channel while you're at it? That way, you'll never miss a drop of our health information, compliance, revenue cycle, and medical coding tea. Do you got thoughts or questions or experiences that you want to share about today's topic? We'll love to hear from you. So drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation brewing. And if you enjoyed this episode, give us a thumbs up. It helps more healthcare professionals find our content. And it doesn't cost you a dime. How about that? And also check out the Coding Nurse channel on YouTube as well as his website. Remember, at the Saturday Morning Tea, we're all about building a community of savvy, informed healthcare professionals. So, again, like, share, subscribe, and comment, and let's grow this community together. Mr. Jesse, do you have any final thoughts?
No.
No.
Just everybody woosah after this.
Do some yoga, breathe. Oh, see, I got on my shirt. Namaste. I don't know if you can see. Namaste. Yay.
Yeah.
I had to play the whole part. I told you I got a whole bunch of stuff. So again, this has been a great session today. See you PRENT sippers over in our meeting after the meeting at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can join us too if you become a member of the PRENT sippers. And remember, be safe, be kind, and don't wish for it, work for it. Until next time, take care, be safe, all of the good things. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.